Hey guys, this is Josh with IAP Air Products. Today we're going to take a look at how to convert a standing arm to a hanging arm. The way we're going to do that is just go through the entire process step by step, showing you all the tools and really the accessories that you need in order to do that. So if you've got the reverse situation of this, where you've got a hanging arm that you need to make a standing arm, you can sort of watch the video in reverse and sort of get the idea of what you need. So let's get to it. All right, so today we have a 6x7 standing arm. Of course, again, what we're doing is converting it into a hanging. So the very first thing we're going to do is lay this arm sort of completely out flat to where your gas strut is pointing upwards. So let's go ahead and do that. There's a couple different ways you can do this. One of the easiest ways is just to get a Phillips head screwdriver. And we're going to start by taking off the hose at the middle joint and the hose connected to the base. You may have to rotate the hose just a little bit to get this back one off. There we go. We'll put those up and rotate the arm back. Okay, so our next step is going to be getting this gas strut off of the arm. You want to make sure that it's as decompressed as possible, so that way you don't have any tension on it. I believe that's just going to take a 10 and an 11 millimeter. Let me get my 10 out here. Yeah, there we go. So the head side is going to be a 10, nut side is going to be 11. So now that we've got the gas shock off, something you'll want to make note of just for future reference is that this gas shock is specific to the 6x7 arm. On the label for the shock, you'll see the number 600N. That's something you'll want to remember just in case you ever lose this shock, you ever want to convert this back to a standing arm. You'll definitely need that part number to tell us to be able to get you the right part. So the next step is for us to relocate the T-bracket on the tube. If you'll look, you'll see that the T-bracket is held in by two 10 millimeter bolts, just like what was holding the gas shock in. We're actually going to relocate that further up the arm to where you'll see two more bolts that share basically the exact same bolt pattern as that T-bracket. So we're going to go ahead and loosen both of these bolts and do the swap, and then of course use the hardware to plug the holes where the T-bracket formerly was. That's also one of the really unique things about our arms. With some other competitors, you might find that in order to get this configuration, you have to turn around and purchase just a completely new arm. With ours, it's pretty unique and something that we tried to think all the way through to where if you ever needed to change the orientation, you didn't have to buy a completely new arm. You just can do a simple conversion and maybe buy just a couple of new parts. Which is just, it's helpful. We try to standardize these things across the board, and this can really be done with almost any of our arms. There may be a couple that are a little bit more difficult just because we may not offer the opposite version in a standing. Standing's a little bit more limited compared to the hanging arms, but if you ever run into that situation, just give us a call and I'm sure we can find a way to make that work. So while we're already on the side where we've just taken the T-bracket off of, we're going to go ahead and use the hardware that we just pulled out to plug these holes. Yeah, let's just go ahead and tighten these back up. And no need to over-tighten these. It's just to block the holes to make sure airflow is sealed off. Okay, so now let's go ahead and move down and officially relocate the T-bracket. And we'll tighten these up and be done with this next step. Okay, so the whole goal of this was basically to move the T-joint further away from the T-joint located on the base. This is going to give you room to install your telescopic spring, which is a part you absolutely will need from us. For the 6x7, the telescopic spring part number is the 27.5. If you just give us a call and tell us you have a 6x7 arm, or really any arm size you have, we can help you out with the parts on these. But specifically for this arm, it takes a 27.5 spring. The whole idea is that this telescopic spring moves in and out, and so you're going to need to have plenty of distance between. I know it looks like it doesn't fit now. It absolutely will during install. So let's go ahead and continue on to the next step. So for this next step, there's 4 bolts that we've got to take out. We're going to rotate the arm, and then we're going to put the bolts right back in. We're going to take a look at where we just relocated the T-bracket. We're going to be looking at the joints that are bolted into the tube. So the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and take the 4 bolts connected to that tube out. All right, there we go. Okay, so once you have loosened the bolts, pulled the hardware out, you'll be able to tell that your arm can come apart into 2 pieces. You've got your swivel side, which is because that's where the swivel base is, and then you have your hood side. What we're going to do is take our hood side and rotate it 180 degrees. So if you're looking at your arm where you've got your label, it looks upside down. We're going to turn it to where it's right side up. Now we're just going to reconnect the arm, bolt it back together, and then we'll go from there. Just a little past snug is really all you need. So now we have, well, for the most part, completely converted our standing arm into a hanging arm. The next thing we're going to do is just go back and reconnect our hoses. Make sure your middle hose goes in the middle and your swivel side hose goes on the swivel. All right, so there it is. We have successfully converted a standing arm to a hanging arm. Like I said earlier, there's going to be some accessories that you're going to need to purchase from IAP or a local dealer that did not come with your standing arm unit. So right now we're going to go and take a look at what some of those accessories are. The first accessory you're going to need is your wall bracket. This wall bracket is for the 6-inch arm, and it typically comes standard with the hanging arm, but of course it doesn't come standard with the standing arm. Typically those are for bench mount or mobile unit applications that really just don't require a bracket. As you can see in this image, we have the bracket that's bolted to the wall, and then the flange of the arm is bolted underneath the bracket to make that connection so the arm is in its hanging position. Okay, the other accessory is our telescopic spring that we took a look at earlier. Again, this telescopic spring is the 27.5, which is specific to the 6x7 arm. What we're going to do is link a video below that'll show you some installation tricks and tips on installing these hanging arms. It makes it a little bit easier during the installation process to know some of the ins and outs before going into it, so that way you don't run into any issues. Okay, so one of the last accessories that you may or may not need is our duck collar. As you can hear, it also comes with the hardware kit. This duck collar, depending on the application that you had your standing arm in, may not have used this, very well could have misplaced it, thrown it away. Who knows what the application is. But for our hanging arms, it is pretty useful. You'll put this protruding upward through the wall bracket before connecting your arm, and this is what you'll bring your ductwork down and connect to. So If you need this, of course, this will be the last piece that you need. If not, and you already have it, great. If you end up having a arm size different than the 6x7 that we've worked on here today, reach out to us. We're more than happy to help you figure out the arm that you have and the parts that you're going to need for it. A few different ways that you can reach out to us is one, on our website, www.iap-airproducts.com. There you'll have the option of selecting to chat with us. You should see either myself or one of the other sales associates' name pop up and you can chat directly with us. Secondly, you can fill out a contact us form on our website, put in the information that you need, and we'll email back and forth with you. Thirdly, you can just give us a call, 931-372-0050. We'll get you in contact with, again, either myself or one of our other sales associates. Or if you know your authorized distributor in your area, please reach out to them. They're more than happy to work with you directly on getting those parts, and they're experts in what they do and in our products. So absolutely use them to your advantage. Lastly, we are incredibly happy that you have one of our IAP Air Products arms. We hope that you really enjoy it, that it does really well for you. And if you ever have any issues, anything that we can do to help you out, please reach out to us. Thanks.